Hi guys, I'm Charles Brownstein from northerntransmissions.com. Thanks for checking out another episode of Records in My Life. This episode features Montreal band Seoul. Check it out.
I'm Dexter.
I'm Julian.
I'm Nigel.
We're from the band Seoul. This is Records of My Life for northerntransmissions.com.
Okay, first thing we got here is Broken Social Scene, Feel Good Lost. Big influence. Second track, Guilty Cubicles, was, it's in my top played on iTunes, so that's a pretty solid indication. Good sleepy time stuff. Indication that it's a record in my life. That's what we're doing, right?
This is a masterpiece. I lived in Vancouver for 5 months and went to this spot at one point, which is in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, as Nardwar would say, and I wanted to do a karaoke rendition of the entire album. At the time, there was sort of a group of tourists standing on the wall, just in this exact configuration. And I planned on making a sort of chintzy MIDI version of the entire thing. Never got around to it, despite spending my time that summer teaching kids how to make electronic music. But, you know, lots of space for Dr. Dan to spit his exquisite words. I think he looks good as a forlorn ex-millionaire. So, thumbs up.
Pretty in Pink soundtrack. I did have this CD in my car when I was a kid, but I was a little bit older. This was kind of like 9 or 10 years old. But yeah, the first track, If You Leave by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Huge. Like, huge. I think I've listened to that song, like, it's basically just like the staple of me being like 8 or 9 years old. And also Shell Shock by New Order. That was another, I'd always like go to that track.
Here we have a classic, Fagan, The Nightfly. For those of you who don't know, he is one of the 2 songwriters in Steely Dan. This was just a big childhood heavy rotation record that just meant a lot. Great songs, great production, great players. What else can you ask for?
Last pick, another person who I think lived in Vancouver once, Dirty Beaches. This one is a double LP, Drifters, Love is the Devil. One of my favorite artists ever. I find he, in a way that no other artist does, marries like cinematic feel and language with sound, and it's just awe-inspiring. And I got more and more into movies as I grew older, and I think it paved the way for Alex to take charge. ...
It's a classic though. It's also definitely, Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, definitely the most rap lyrics on any record that I know. This was like always playing in my car. I had this like sky blue 1984 Toyota Land Cruiser, and I would listen to this on the way to school, and Yeah, I remember thinking it was like the coolest shit like ever.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Northern Transmissions.
Thank you.